Alright guys, Choose Army Slayers back in, and today I'm showing a little bit more of what I did with the barrel. I added on, I think, 1 or 2 layers onto this again, onto the front piece. And then for that, I don't know if in the last video this was like that, but I kind of tried to glue something on here. It didn't go too well, and I messed up some stuff, but then I took a file and sanded it back down. Basically, what I'm about to explain is the way that I want my gas tube to be set up. Basically, since that hole is little, like if I take this plastic little, cheap little thing, and I also push this into the hole, edge into the hole, and this is very hard to do with a phone in my hand, and I was to try to get the scale of that hole. It's about 2, 3. Let me see if I can do this real quick without having a phone. It's roughly 3.1 to 3.3 millimeters wide. So basically, I want to get a pipe that can fit in there, and that pipe will be just basically glued in. And it's going to be the same way with the import when I get the block, because I had got this airsoft gun as a reference, because it's the measurements on it is basically the same. Basically, when I make this block on here, then so what I want to do is I want to make the barrel the kinds where the back can be pushed out, like a pin can be pushed out, and you can slide the back piece off and replace it if you need to, or clean the gas tube through that way, instead of just one where it's a straight screw through it, and that screw is straight into the gas tube. So it's like, because one barrel is where there's a pin, you got to push the pin through the locking piece on the bottom of the barrel, and then you can slide it off. The other one is just a straight one-piece barrel, but through the gas tube there's a set screw to keep the gas from coming back into regular gun. So basically what I want mine to do is the first one, where I can replace the pieces. So if the piece ever breaks from extensive shooting or just shooting in general, or it's just too weak and it breaks on the first shot, then I can just like take it off and make a new one. And another thing, I gotta get one more layer onto here before I can do this, but basically what I wanted to do is basically just imagine a T-joint, like a T-pipe. So the pipe is straight up and down, and then it's a T. So basically I want a T-joint there, a T-pipe there, and that way so I can take one pipe and drill a hole through it and line it up so that the hole is facing that hole, and make it where it's like a little loose but not that loose enough to where you can just slide it out. So it's like the pipe is a T, and then you can slide your gas tube. You can be able to remove your gas tube and replace it entirely. So the gas tube will run probably about to this blue line, and then when you take the actual piece off, you can just slide the gas tube out and then clean it or replace it or whatever you want to do with it. And then, but it is gonna run all the way down to like a little bit farther, probably about like that much space off the end of the block, so it'll probably run to about there, but a little bit past that big thing, the big hole for the gas tube, or what the freak am I saying? The gas piston. The hole that the gas piston fits into is gonna go back a little bit after that. That way, so if I shoot any of my loads that give a little bit of residue, like burnt powder residue, or just burnt powder in general, because some of the powders I make for it do that, and I basically want to just catch some of that so that it's not just spitting out powder or just jamming because powder's not being caught and the powder is just building up. I don't want to do that. It's just like in the real Desert Eagle, but yes, just like the real Desert Eagle, where there's a little bit of a channel drill back and in the front, so that the powder, if there's any powder residue or carbon buildup, it won't just immediately affect the reliability. It'll take a minute to do anything. But yeah, basically once I do that, that's where I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna put one more layer of paper on this barrel, and then I'm gonna start trying to find the gas tubes or the things to make the gas tubes. And then when I get the gas tubes in place, I'm gonna make a video on it, and then I'm gonna continue to layer around that and get that done and over with. And from there, once I'm just gonna basically bring the barrel all the way to length, like all the way to width, I meant, because it has to be way thicker. And then I'm just gonna cut out the little channel like on this, cut out everything, and then from there I'll be done with the barrel. And I'm gonna basically, all the measurements for this airsoft gun is the same for the paper gun, because this is like a 1-to-1. So it's like, if I were to, hold up, let me get measurements of this. 2.79 is how fat the barrel is, and that's just like on a real gun, or 2.80 depending on what you like. So that is the measurement of how thick that is, and that's only 1 millimeter bigger than the real gun. So I believe this whole entire thing is about the size of the real gun. If not, it's probably a little bit smaller, because me, I have humongous hands. Like, my Xbox controller is like that, and I'm only 15, and this thing is already big on its own. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna check it after and make sure that it's the right size for everything and everything. If not, I don't care. I like smaller guns anyway. But yeah, that was all. That's all I gotta do, and then I'll be moving on to the slide. And after the slide, I'm gonna make the frame and all the pieces. Like, already I have parts for the slide made, just not everything. Like, it's gonna be hard for me to get a recoil spring. I'm just gonna find some springs or that'll go on there. But for testing, I'm just gonna test it without springs to see if it'll even kick back the slide at all. And hopefully this time I actually get finished with something, because this stuff is hard. Like, if you do paper crafting, this stuff is hard. And it's harder for me to use thinner paper. That's why I'm using a little bit thicker paper, because it's hard. It's just generally hard for me, so I just do it differently, a little bit different. It shouldn't affect anything. Plus, it's still stable at least. But another thing I gotta do is, like, cause you see how there's, if it wants to focus, yeah, it doesn't want to focus. But basically, there's like certain gaps, like right there's a gap right there. You can't even see it, it's blurry, but there's a gap right here and a couple other ones right there, and just generally gaps all around. So basically what I gotta do is I gotta put super glue all around the edge and let it soak in for a minute, and then I'm just gonna basically, the way that I'm gonna do it, yeah, I'm gonna put super glue around, let it soak if it needs to, if it is going to, and then I'm gonna just like put more super glue on it, and then put baking soda, push baking soda into it to make sure that it's completely sealed those gaps. And then from there, I'm just gonna sand it down to a flush and perfect surface. And then I'm gonna chamber it around, see how good it fits and whatnot. Another thing I haven't showed y'all yet. This thing, if the ground is in enough, like, it won't fall out. Like, if you push it in all the way, it's not gonna come out, and there's no gas escaping or anything. Like, I can take this thing and like go slam. That round's not coming out, or I can just, it's not gonna come out. It's just like a good enough seal. It's really good. So hopefully that helps with things, help keeping more pressure into the gas tube, pushing more gas in through it and everything. And I also have to do some work to seal the barrel to get it to hold a good seal too, so that'll help things more. But yeah, that's all for today's video. Even I'm surprised it got that long for the short amount of, or well, for this just one thing. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm making more videos and working on this soon, but I got school in like how many days? I don't even know. I think it's like 10 or 9 days, so that's gonna slow some stuff down. But anyways, yeah.